Okay, recording this video on Saturday, the 10th of October 2020. It's just gone 11:47 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So this video, I want to talk about the British pound, the euro, the dollar index, gold and silver, and talk about tick bar charts and daily charts. And the reason for talking about all of those markets, because they all have a similar setup happening at the moment, something that we've been seeing generate over the last week, which is a weakness being caught by support in the next highest time frame. So the pound and the euro, gold and silver are all starting to rally because the weakness that we've had over the last 2 weeks has been stopped by support in the next highest time frame. So I'll show you that quickly on the British pound daily chart because this is what we're seeing at the moment. So this is at BP, continuous contract, day and night, a CME, Globex traded contract for the British pound. And this weakness that we've had with white bars here, so we've been in an uptrend with red bars here on better sine wave. But we've had a little bit of weakness right here when we broke support, a pullback in an uptrend support level here on the daily chart, and we're about to have a cyclical cross. So the cross actually went off on Friday, but we've not got confirmation of it yet. Cyclical cross there on the intermediate time frame. So this is better sine wave calculating our cyclical energy in 3 different time frames. The low time frame, lowest time frame has the thinnest lines, the highest time frame has the thickest lines, and the intermediate time frame has these kind of medium thickness lines. And we've got the red line crossing the blue line. So the fast line is crossing the slow line, which means we're due for a cyclical support on the intermediate time frame. So we had a little bit of weakness, and it's going to be caught by a support level that'll print here most likely on Monday. In fact, we've gotten ahead of ourselves pretty quickly. So we've had strength for the last week or so, and we've actually broken above resistance on the lowest time frame into another red up bar, kind of strength bar here. But we're going to have cyclical support come on the intermediate time frame, which will mean this move could kind of run for quite a while. It'll run for most likely support to resistance on the intermediate time frame. So that's a good kind of chunk of time that this thing will run for. I've been into this trade for 2 weeks, put out a video on the 27th of September, this one here. This is Emini-Watch on the YouTube channel. So 27th of September, we talked about the British pound kind of setting up. And I'll show you that on the tick bar chart, which led to an entry here on the British pound. So backing it down to tick bar charts, a 5,000 tick bar chart of the British pound is roughly 9 bars per trading day. And what we saw kind of down here at the end of September was a second cyclical turn after end of trend. So an end of trend move here with pullback to end of trend. It's just printed there. It's a little bit fuzzy on the text there, but that's an end of trend on the lowest time frame. And then we get 1 and 2 cyclical turns after end of trend. That is often a place where we get a reversal point. And what's nice with this one, I pointed it out in that video, we've got cyclical support on the intermediate time frame, and we're also hunting for a long trade because we've got cyclical support on the highest time frame. So that was a good little entry here, and I got in here on that Sunday night, kind of Monday morning, and this thing took off kind of straight away. Now, I've actually traded out of the British pound and swapped out of the British pound for the euro on Friday morning. And the reason for that is we kind of got to 130 here, and we got a Rambo pattern, a couple of Rambo patterns there. That's a potential reversal of an amateur breakout. So that move's being led by the amateurs. And then we had some weakness from there, which you'll often see. If the move's kind of being led by the amateurs, we'll often kind of test back down and just see if it's a reversal point or if we're going to go anywhere. And then I looked at this on Friday morning, and we were kind of going nowhere. And by contrast, the euro had really started to take off on Friday morning. So jumped out of the British pound and took the trade in the euro instead. And I'll just show you that quickly on the tick bar chart of the euro. So about the same point here on that day, Friday morning, the euro had really started to strengthen there. So I thought I was better off that we were going to get a stronger move in the euro than the pound. But as it turned out, the pound just busted out of that little channel there on Friday, and it would have been good either way. So I'm not sure whether I made an error there and I should have stuck with the pound. We'll have to wait and see. But it was not as convincing at that point as the euro. But both of them were trading up against the dollar index, so all of that's kind of good. But this is the pattern that we're starting to see emerge in each of these kind of Forex contracts and gold and silver. So we've got some weakness that's being caught by support in the next highest time frame, which should lead to a trade that kind of travels quite a bit. So we'll see where this goes, but that's looking good for Monday's support. The euro, the same thing's kind of going on. So, you know, we had all this strength kind of going on in the euro. Red background shows us that there's an uptrend in both volume and price. So that's kind of all good. And that's why I swapped into the euro at that point. But again, going to the daily chart, you can see here, it didn't break into a downtrend. It didn't go white at that point there, like it did on the British pound on the daily chart. But we did kind of trade away from those highs with resistance kind of coming in here, broke below support at this point here. And there you can see we've got a similar thing kind of lining up for Monday's trade, where we'll get a support print when the red line crosses the blue line, the fast line crosses the slow line on this intermediate time frame. And so a break of that support on the lowest time frame is caught by support in the next highest time frame. So that's what I'm looking for, support to resistance now on that intermediate on the daily chart. Similar pattern but inverted for the dollar index. So dollar index, we're only using a 1,000 tip bar chart in the dollar index because it doesn't trade as many contracts here, but you can see the weakness that we've had over this, you know, from the 27th of September here. We kind of maxed out the dollar index and we've kind of been weak ever since. But again, on the daily chart, this little bit of strength that we've had, where we've busted above resistance here, a little bit of strength from that low, is going to be caught by resistance on the intermediate time frame. So that'll go off Monday, Tuesday at some point, and that'll finish up with plotting a resistance line. So any strength there is caught by resistance in the next highest time frame on the dollar index. So that's what we can see on all the Forex charts. I like looking at them all together. There are about 9 of them, kind of major contracts. So you put on the Japanese yen, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, and so on, all on one chart. You can start to see a lot of those cyclical patterns kind of line up together. When they start to kind of move together all against the dollar index, you know that there's kind of a big shift kind of happening. And because we've got this kind of weakness in the dollar index and US dollar, it means we're getting strength in gold and silver. And gold, let me show you the daily chart first in gold. So this one has, so we had a little bit of weakness. We topped out just above 2,000. We had quite a little bit of selling going on here, but didn't break into a downtrend on better sine wave because the bars are all red here. Support came in on that lowest time frame here a few days ago, and now with last couple of days activity, and particularly Friday's activity here, you can see here the support level on the daily chart on the intermediate time frame has come in, and we're going to run this pullback to end of trend kind of on the way up on the daily chart there. So it wasn't breaking below supports on the gold chart, so we didn't have any kind of white bars printing there, but now we've got 2 things going on. So we've got support on the intermediate and the lowest time frame kind of showing this trend is going to continue until we go pull back to a resistance point. Tick bar chart, nice sell-off, exhaustion selling kind of down here. We didn't have blue professional bars down at this leg. We did this leg into 1900. We had amateur bars here, and we had a blue professional bar come in at this point. We've kind of been testing down here, but you can see better sine wave on the tip bar chart was strong the whole time into this weakness. And so now with Friday's activity busting back up through 1920, 1925, that's an important level, and hopefully this will take off until we see exhaustion buy on the upside. And similarly with silver. So silver here we did break below support on the lowest time frame on the daily chart here, and we're going to get this cross on the intermediate time frame here when the red line crosses above the blue line. Fast line goes above the slow line on the intermediate time frame, and that will plot a support level here on the daily chart, and that'll give us kind of confirmation that this retraces over and that we're going to go test the highs. Silver on the tick bar chart looked a little bit more interesting with blue professional bars kind of coming in here. We had our exhaustion selling, blue professional bar, another divergence pattern kind of down here, blue professional bars here. We break above that area, better pro-am kind of trending system flips the other way, and then we've got strength. We're breaking through resistances on better sine wave, and the background gets printed red, so we know we're kind of in an uptrend and strength and all those kind of good things. So all of those charts have a similar pattern. Weakness, temporary weakness being caught by support in the next highest time frame, and that'll give us an intermediate time frame length of kind of move, which should be good. So I don't know where that puts us in terms of, the election is going to be absolutely key. Maybe 10th of October today. It's going to run for the next couple of weeks up until November. So I've been pretty much waiting all week to do this video, so finally got it out, but it takes a while for all of those cyclical patterns to start to kind of line up and kind of come together. I think with Friday's activity, we get kind of confirmation that there's a burst of energy in this particular direction. It could kind of last for a few days. So let's see where this goes, and looking forward to the rest of the weekend.